So as we go into the gold key release, there are some things to clear up, which is a tendency for people to evaluate for correctness and to dredge for more. Neither is necessary. They're accounted for in the structure of the process itself.
Okay.
There's nothing to remember, so you may just stay present to it without concern about remembering anything.
Okay, great.
And a good outcome for a gold key release is that the release is so complete that a person may have trouble remembering what it was,
Yes, okay, yeah.
or it may be just so dissolved that it has the density of smoke and no emotional impact anymore.
Okay.
And when that happens, you'll hear an opportunity at the end of the process for you to state whether it's gone or whether there's something left. If there's something left, we cycle through again.
Okay.
So here we go. LOT-NESS. LOT-NESS. Feeling a lotness. A lotness. Notice where you feel it in you. A lotness. A lotness. Feel the intensity of identifying a lotness. A lotness. Feel the intensity of its intensity. A lotness. A lotness. Listen. Listen. Feel the shape of its intensity. A lotness. Intending a lotness. Intending a lotness. Intending. Refusing. Refusing. Refusing a lotness. Refusing a lotness. A lotness. A lotness. It matters. A lotness. A lotness doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. A lotness matters. It matters. Feel how it mattering involves you. Feel how it mattering involves others. It's true. It's true. Untrue. 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 It's true. Untrue. Untrue. It's true. It's true. Remembering. Remembering. It's true. It's true. Remembering. Remembering a lotness. It's true. Remembering. Remembering. Untrue. Untrue. Remembering. Remembering a lotness. Untrue. Remembering a lotness. It's true. Remembering a lotness. Untrue. Allow how remembering involves imagining. Stop imagining. Let it dissolve. and dissipate. Notice, you are a form of awareness. Is it more, less, the same, or gone? A lot-ness.
Less.
Take what's left. Feel having it. Notice where you feel it in you. A lot-ness. A lot-ness. Feel the intensity of identifying a lot-ness. A lot-ness. Feel the intensity of its intensity. A lot-ness. A lot-ness. Listen. Listen. Feel the shape of its intensity. A lot-ness. Refusing a lot-ness. Refusing a lot-ness. Refusing intending. Intending. Intending a lot-ness. Intending a lot-ness. A lot-ness. A lot-ness. It doesn't matter. A lot-ness. A lot-ness matters. It matters. A lot-ness doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Feel how it doesn't matter involves you. Feel how it doesn't matter involves others. Untrue. Untrue. It's true. It's true. It's true. Untrue. It's true. It's true. Untrue. Untrue. Remembering. Remembering. Untrue. Untrue. Remembering. Remembering a lot-ness. Untrue. Remembering. Remembering. It's true. It's true. Remembering. Remembering a lot-ness. It's true. Remembering a lot-ness. Untrue. Remembering a lot-ness. It's true. Allow how remembering involves imagining. 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 Intending. Imagining. Imagining a lot-ness. A lot-ness. Intending. Imagining. Intending. Intending. A lot-ness. A lot-ness. A lot-ness. Imagining. Imagining. Remembering. Imagining. Imagining a lot-ness. A lot-ness. Remembering. Imagining. Remembering. Remembering. allotness, allotness, allotness. Imagining, imagining. Attending, imagining. Imagining allotness, allotness. Attending, imagining. Attending, attending. Allotness, allotness, allotness. Imagining, imagining. Imagining allotness, allotness, allotness. Stop imagining. Stop stopping. Let it dissolve and dissipate. Notice, you are a form of awareness. Is it more, less, the same, or gone? Allotness.
It feels gone.
Very good.
It feels,
Space.
yeah. Space and at the same time full and like I can feel my body as if I'm feeling it from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm. That's pretty special. I feel like I was on some kind of magical mystery tour, or some kind of like that was hmm, thank you.
My pleasure.
Wow, what a gift. Hmm. I'm all tingly, Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can feel every part of my body.
Mm-hmm.
It's all. Hmm. Hmm. Well, everything's just okay now, isn't it? And it is. Of course it is. We're capable of so much, aren't we, as human beings? So much more than we realize.
Mhm.
So much more than is beyond even our wildest imagination. So held back by our genetics and our habits and our beliefs and values and rules that we make for ourselves and that have been made for us and that have been genetically imprinted on us over the years. Wow. They're like handcuffs, aren't they? Like shackles.
Invisible, unless
Mm.
unless revealed, unless they're
Mm.
surfaced. And that's how people tend to live our lives. We never
Yeah.
look at the origin of the foundation from which we're operating. We always look at the objects, the,
Yeah.
the things we seek to manipulate rather than the ground from which we're attempting that.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see in the next few days how this plays out in ordinary experience.
Yes, absolutely. Will my husband notice a better me? A more calm and collected
Mm-hmm.
and zen Fiona, the one who doesn't fly off the handle.
Mm-hmm.
Now that would be a miracle. Um, huh,
Well, flying off the handle is another possible topic for the gold key release.
right.
The the great skill of using this process is in it occurring to us that we could use it on something.
Right. Can I ask you about it? Like
Certainly.
what, what's happening or like how's it working or it's like some kind of magic trick, you know what I mean?
You're the second person in 2 days to use that word.
Hmm.
I'll tell you about it. I'm going to be simplifying this a bit because it's a deep rabbit hole. I'll tell you first the origin story in brief. I've been around the block, you might say, a few times. And some years ago, I was contemplating the different things that I'd been involved with, and I suddenly discerned that all of them had something in common. They all were based on one or more of four core muscles of intelligence or functions of intelligence, which are attention, intention, memory, and imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And these are not arbitrary or made up. If we look at any experience, we can see that all four are present. Even imagination, which is simply our open channel to new things, newness. Without that, it's only memory, which is a replay. So for progress, change, newness to occur, the imagination channel is the channel. And it suddenly occurred to me during this walk to wonder, what if they all work together? You probably observe that most teachings emphasize one only. Focus, that's attention.
Mm.
Will or determination, that's intention. Know-how or knowledge, that's memory. And creativity or some form of it, which is imagination. But I have seen only one tradition, which is about a 10,000-year-old tradition that incorporates all four specifically and explicitly. So I began to wonder, what if they all work together? That was the first connection. And I began exploring emotional states for how they involved one or more of those four. That was my first step. Later down the line, I was in an intensive somatics, this is my discipline, somatics session with a client. And I suddenly had the sense that some of her difficulties in the process were emotionally grounded, and that she was, on that basis, stuck. So during a break, I traced in myself, what is the underpinning of stuckness? Well, the very first thing is there's got to be something we're stuck with or stuck about. Then as I traced it in myself, I also discovered that intending it and refusing it were involved, sometimes at the same time. It could be unconsciously intending and consciously refusing, or it could be consciously intending but unconsciously refusing and feeling stuck. As I traced it along, I discovered that there was another layer, which was, does it really matter? Who cares? So it matters and it doesn't matter came to the fore. And then memory, remembering. It's true, it's true. Oh, is it true? Ah, yes, of course, we always believe it's true. And that in itself can keep us anchored in it. And then after that, I'm having to sort through it to find it myself again, because I dissolve myself when I talk about it. Okay, right. Memory and imagination. And so it involves all four of those functions of intelligence in a structured way. And once a person has gone through the preliminaries of tracing what is stuck about it, it's brought them to consciousness, and they are in a position to be able to stop imagining it. Without that fleshing it out, imagining is likely to become suppressing or repressing. But if a person flushes it up, then it becomes an easily voluntary act. So that's how it works, in a bit of the origin story.
You know what it felt like?
Mm-hmm.
It felt like fucking with my brain. It's like, and I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Oh, good.
It's like scrambling. You know, when you scramble a message to wipe it out or something, it was like it was. I don't know where this term has come from, but there's some movie or something that I saw where they scramble a message in, when they're sending messages on old war films or something,
Mm-hmm.
and how you can scramble it. And that's the thing that is coming up for me, that it was scrambled. So it's no longer, and you said it kind of dissolves. It's like it's no longer there. And yeah, I'm really curious to see what happens, because, and you're a somatic coach or a somatic worker. So I do really believe in the body intelligence, and how there is so much in the body that is just being forgotten and being left behind over the years, over the generations, over the centuries. And we've become more and more, about the body being something that carries the head around. And that if we can bypass the brain and access the body intelligence in some ways, and Annie talks a little bit light touch about this, that's where, like, there's such intelligence there, and So I'm quite sure, and when you said that this is an ancient, you only saw it somewhere in an ancient practice, that really makes sense to me because, I think there's probably so much that we have lost that if we could re-find that and, bring it to the world, like there's so much there. So that felt really powerful, Lawrence. And yeah, I'll keep you posted on what's happened with it. I feel
Mm.
yeah, amazing, amazing.
What would you feel about my using your comments afterwards as a
Yeah,
public statement? Yeah, that'd be great.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Um, oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens,
Hmm.
and what an amazing gift to be able to do this work with people. Like that's a gift, you know.
I'm looking at doing mass deliveries, large
Mm,
numbers of people all at once.
yes. I know, you said we can call it the item or we can call it the name.
Hmm.
And, if you were calling it the item or some other word, one word would be better. Um, it allows for group work.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how, if we had called it some other thing, the item or something, would it have had the same impact as, because it had, as you were saying it, I can't even remember what I was calling it. I can't even remember what it was. Uh, it was a lot. Yeah, there you go. It was a lotness.
Hmm.
And like it was so powerful hearing it back to me. That was like part of it was like,
Hmm.
so I'm curious about that. Does it impact on the power of it to use the word or to not use the word? And you've done this, so you probably know.
It works both ways. And when a person keeps reminding themselves of the item by them stating it, it adds horsepower.
Yes, yes, yeah, like a neural pathway, completely. Never going to speak that word again.
Which word?
Which word? Which word? Which word? Birdie. Um, hmm. Will you send me the recording, Lawrence?
Yes, I will.
Yeah, wow. Wow. God, what a way to end the weekend. And we were meeting to do the practice, which we didn't do. Um, I'm feeling a little bad about that now that you have given me this gift and I have offered you nothing.
Well, we can always meet again.
Yeah, definitely.
Annie and Eben have identified three of the four. I've heard them use those words in their instruction. I didn't hear them use the word imagination. Maybe I missed it, but I remember identifying this. By George, he's got most of them.
Oh, right. Well, that's really interesting because one of the books that I was going to write, which I didn't write, because my book has been 7 years in the coming and in the not writing so far.
Mm.
Um, and one of them is one iteration of it was the 5 C's of life, love, and leadership.
Hmm.
And which was so like, anyway, I moved, but I got this thing about that all anyone needed in their life, like for life, for love, for leadership, for everything was to embody courage, creativity. Oh my God, I've forgotten the words now. Hold on. It's been so long since I. But it's interesting that that's come up for me. Let me have a look at this, my old book. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Let me look in my folder for my many different book iterations writing. Here we go.
Or we can talk about that next time we meet,
Yes.
because it'll take some time to find it possibly, and we have three
Yeah.
minutes
Yeah.
left
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
before the
Um,
big Zoom foot comes down.
oh, right. Okay. Ba-boom. Ba-boom.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope that something that we did, the other day, that gave you something, and that everything is good with you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're fine.
What's something that you're going to do this weekend that's lovely?
Good question. Weekends are my non-structured time. The one thing that I do regularly is visit with my mother on Saturdays. The rest of it is free form. Typically, it's been a retreat day where I use my own processes. The Gold Key release is the entry level process. There are others that came to the fore when I saw that I was having to do a lot of Gold Key release on an item. And so I came up with some preparatory processes that flesh it up enough that makes it more accessible.
Okay.
One is for identifying hidden aspects of relationships, another for self-conflict or self-sabotage,
Right. Wow.
and another is for discerning the essential characteristics of anything. It's a matrix called the Tetraseed Balanced Intelligence Lattice.
Wow.
And it looks like the periodic table of the elements.
Okay.
What that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got columns, and
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of hydrogen and helium, we have imagination and attention. And
Okay.
then each of
Okay.
those below it has expressions that constitute it. So you can go
Wow.
through that and you can use it on dreams. You can use it on any difficult item
Oh my
in order to
God.
surface its difficulties. And it also is a form of a game, a game of intuition that can be played recreationally.
Wow. Oh my goodness. You have done like this is so I am always so impressed by someone has who has developed their own, if you want to call it a methodology, a framework, a medicine.
We're about to disappear. If you want to talk some more, we can restart the session.
My husband is waiting for me. I told him I was finished at 5,
All right.
but thank you
Well, let's
so much.
talk about the content of your book next time.
Yeah, okay. When shall we meet?